Hey, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the Guillain-Barré Syndrome. So, for short, the GBS. Guillain-Barré Syndrome is neurodegenerative, especially acute motor axonal neuropathy. So, in this way, your neural, basically the motor activity will be cause problem, so cause infection. Here, let's understand about that all things. So here is the person which that's contain digestive system. The large intestine contain lumen. Lumen contain T regulatory cell and antibodies, virus, and pathogen, a lot more things. So the bacterial infection can be caused the GBS, the Campylobacter jejuni, Mycoplasma pneumonia, Haemophilus influenza bacteria. So the Haemophilus influenza bacteria, Mycoplasma pneumonia, and the Campylobacter jejuni. While the viral infection, Zika virus, SARS-CoV-2 virus, and cytomegalovirus. So, especially the SARS-CoV virus also cause the GBS and the Guillain-Barré syndrome basically, and the cytomegalovirus also. We will understand separately in the video about the Zika virus and cytomegalovirus. Vaccines can be a COVID-19, influenza, and rabies also cause the Guillain-Barré syndrome. So anyhow, let's understand about the further pathophysiological aspects. So here is the large intestine epithelial cell, which does contain a lot more pathogen like the Campylobacter jejuni or Mycoplasma pneumonia or Haemophilus influenza or other Zika virus or SARS-CoV-2 virus and cytomegalovirus. Anyhow, but not in the digestive system, but in the respiratory system, the Zika virus and SARS-CoV-2 virus. So anyhow, this antigen presenting cell or Langerhans cell are present in the lamina propria or Peyer's patches. So these basically recognize the antigen of the bacteria, which that is present in the surface of the bacteria and engulf this antigen through a dendritic cell, and dendritic cell will recruit the T cell, naive T cell. So anyhow, on the other hand, this bacterial surface contain ganglioside. This ganglioside basically mimicry will occur. How it is possible? This is the lipid A containing ganglioside. This ganglioside is same outer membrane of the axonema, the nerve. Our nerve contain a axon. Axon contain a membrane, basically contain a ceramide containing ganglioside. The ceramide containing ganglioside basically the same like a ganglioside of the Campylobacter jejuni or the Mycoplasma pneumonia or the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So anyhow, in this way, let's understand about the further. So basically, in this way, the production of the antibody basically will attack the antigen of the bacteria, like the ganglioside antigen. So the autoantibody production will occur, the cytokines production, and in this way it will attack the nerves, our neuron. So in this the T regulatory cell and T helper cell will not function properly. T regulatory cell will not learn how to manage that things, and in this way T regulatory cell will not activate. Because T regulatory cell think about that, it is the inflammation and we should clear it up. So here is the naive T cell which that proliferate into the CD8 and CD4. The CD8 will cytotoxicity, phagocytosis or cytotoxicity, and the apoptosis of the infected epithelial cell of the large intestine. Anyhow, on the other hand, the interleukin 15 production will last, and T regulatory cell will dysfunction, not function properly, not inhibit the CD4 for the further progression of the inflammation because it is our need for production of antibody for combating the pathogen. So antibody from the B cell and plasma cell produce antibody, and the B cell will become a B memory cell to produce antibody further on. This antibody will attack the ganglioside of the pathogen, but also attack the ganglioside with the ceramide containing ganglioside of the axonema of our nervous system, so our motor neuron. So the AMAN mean the acute motor axonal neuropathy will occur. In this way, the myelinated Schwann cell, which that will be degrade, so the neurodegeneration will occur. On the other hand, the AIDP means the AIDP, acute inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy will occur. So the demyelinating polyneuropathy and the axonal neuropathy will occur. Both neuropathy is very dangerous, and your body will paralyze and a lot more problem. So we will discuss later. So the anti-GM1 cross-reactive antibodies will attack on the axon, on the myelination site, and in this the basically it will attack, and the membrane attack complex formation, and macrophage will recruit for the clearance of the inflammation. But in this way, remember about that things, basically the unknown target of antibody will also occur, and in this way the Schwann cell will be degrade, is known as the acute inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. So in this way, the damaging of the motor neuron will basically dysfunction. So in the same time, the ganglioside of the pathogen like the Campylobacter jejuni will also absonize due to the antibody. So it should be clear of that. So both, basically it is auto antibody will auto reactive, and in this way the our own antigen will be recognized for the absonization and the clearance of the pathogenicity, but our cell is not pathogen. So anyhow, the in this way that basically the treatment is the plasmapheresis, intravenous immunoglobulin, and cardiac monitoring. And the symptom can be a tingling or pain and needles like feeling, and muscle weakness, pain, difficulty walking, paralysis, and difficulty in moves. Problem with the bladder control because the motor neurons will not function properly for the constriction of muscle, and bowel function will dysfunction, difficulty breathing, and double vision and fatigue will occur. And this is the problem is very dangerous, so remember about that things. And in this, the Guillain-Barré syndrome is very dangerous, and the treatment can be a plasmapheresis, intravenous immunoglobulin, and cardiac monitoring. So in this way, the basically important thing is that the diagnosis is the medical history, the physical exams, and nervous exams, and sensory testing, as well as the blood test. So first of all, the blood test, and then we will understand the medical history, the physical exam, and nerves exam, and sensory testing, and spinal tap, as well as the electromyography. So I hope you make sense about that. The Guillain-Barré syndrome is the auto-antibody producing disease which that produce the antibodies for against the pathogen, but at the same time our antigen, for example the axon, contain also the axolemma, contain also the same ganglioside which that mimicry, and our body think about that the both are pathogen, and in this is the combating for both, like the axon and the basically the motor neuron as well as the pathogen. While the GBS is basically a syndrome related to lysis of neurons and motor, lead to many outcomes: motor movement dysfunction and paralysis. I hope you make sense about that. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Muhammad Umar Farooq. Bye.